Hello, my name is Lovdev Bar Paga. Welcome to my comedy podcast, crazy little thing called Lovdev. I cover topics from all over Reddit. Today's episode is 173 Chicken Diapers. I'm sitting back and I am relaxed. Normally, I've got my mouth right up to the microphone, but this time, I'm just laying back, chilling, enjoying my life as it is, kind of. I could have enjoyed it yesterday. Unfortunately, it was my solo show at the Ram Comedy Festival in Derby. Half Soaked was meant to be premiering in Derbyshire. Unfortunately, the people of Derbyshire did not want to see me. I'm not quite sure what the reason was. I only sold 2 tickets. 2 tickets. I messaged the promoter. I said, "How is my ticket sales looking?" He said, "To be honest, mate, you've only got 1 ticket." I thought, fantastic. That's what I wanted to hear. 1 ticket. Then he said it's gone up to 2. Then I was like, do you know what? Let's just cancel it. I'm not going all the way to Derbyshire for 2 people who I probably already know. They're going to be somebody who's seen me before, or someone just took a stint and thought, I want to see this geezer. Let's see what it's all about. Yeah, that did not happen, unfortunately. I am gutted. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit disappointed that people of Derbyshire did not want to see me, whereas other shows have been sold out, or they've had people in there. Now, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone else, but a lot of the other shows were, let's just say, they didn't look like me, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case, man. I don't know. Do you know what? I don't care. They've missed a great show, so it's their loss. I did one Stockport. That's where I was, in Stockport, for a venue called the Bijou Cinema. It was great, man. It was all right. Do you know what? People were there. They weren't expecting to see me, so they took a stint. They know the venue, and they came. I had about 25, 30, I think it was. I mean, they're all spaced out. It looked like a little cinema. The stage was fine. The sound was all right. Do you know what I mean? People enjoyed it. There was people who were unsure what bits to laugh at. Now, I don't know whether that's a cultural thing or I don't know, but other people I could see were really they wanted to laugh out loud. And I think if they'd had the house lights off, it would have been a better night. But it doesn't matter. I got to run out my show, and now I can get to do it tonight, because tonight is my show at the Rick Mail Comedy Festival in Droitwich. There's no point in me plugging it, because by the time you've heard this, my show is already done. And when I do the next episode, I will tell you guys how it all went. The good news is, at the moment, I have sold 23 tickets, which is great. It's fantastic. People have actually paid. It is pay what you want. You can come in for free if you have to, but people have put money and paid for a ticket, which is nice. So 23 I'm expecting, minimum, but hopefully it should be sold out, because I've got friends there who have sold. One of my friends did a show the other day. He said he only sold 25 tickets as well, and he ended up having 60 in there. It was a full room, different venue, but it doesn't matter, because I've heard from everyone else that a lot of people are now supporting this Rick Mail Comedy Festival. It's quite popular, which is good to hear, because it's the very first one, and hopefully it will just continue. So that is flipping fantastic. So let's crack on with the show and do this.
Ask the UK.
It is Ask the UK. Right, today's Ask the UK has been put up by Frankie Pinks. I feel like I've already done one of Frankie Pinks. I'm not too sure. The name sounds very familiar. Anyway, it's from Reddit on the Ask the UK forum. Frankie is asking, what's an embarrassing work tantrum you have witnessed? Now, before I read Frankie's one, I have thought of this, and I thought there is somebody that I used to work with. It's kind of like a tantrum. More of a panic than a tantrum. I will change names to hide the identity of that person because they could be listening. And if they are listening, they know exactly who they are. So I used to work in a learning and disability assessment and treatment unit. Basically, it's a hospital for people who learn disabilities when they go into crisis or they need medication reviewed, that kind of stuff. They used to come in. They weren't there for long, a few weeks, and then get them better, send them out. We had one client who was absolutely manic. And I'll never forget this. That wasn't the problem. The problem was the staff. It's always the staff you're working with. Now, there was a senior manager who used to work with us. I will change the name. Let's even change the gender. So you don't even know what gender or the real name is. Charlie. We'll call him Charlie. Charlie, whenever the ward used to have trouble, Charlie would always be in the office. Always in the office. You barely see Charlie helping out with other staff members. And I remember there was some commotion going on. I could hear it down the corridor. And on that corridor is where the office was. And the Charlie come out going, guys! And I thought, oh my God, what's happened now? So I ran down to see what was happening. And I could see the other client who was basically just messing about. I think they were stripping or something. And I was thinking, why don't you just come out and help us? She literally put their head through the door, opened the door, and went, guys, and then shut the door. I'm thinking, just come and help us. Do you know what I mean? Why don't you just pull the alarm or there was no assistance. So for me, that was kind of an embarrassing tantrum, work tantrum. Kind of. Let's see what Frankie Pinks has to say. One of my employees is a beer snob. A beer snob. No other way to put it. It's his 30th this weekend, and everyone chipped in to buy him a few gifts, with one being a case of his favourite beer, which they don't sell in this country anymore, so I had to get it sent over from Ireland. As a joke, we wrapped a crate of Fosters up for him. We give him his gifts and we wrote on the label, "We know it's not your favourite." He opened it and we all kept a straight face. He looked around and we all kept a straight face, and then he exploded and said, "We are all..." They're all bankers. They're all bankers. That's the work in a bank. We're all bankers, and none of us actually know him, and he'd never drink that. He'd never drink that pee, etc., etc. It went on that long, most people started to file away out of embarrassment. So people were just like creeping backwards. You know, like that meme that you see of Homer, and he's just stepping back into the bush. That's what everybody was doing. That's hilarious. So everyone was filing away out of embarrassment, as I said. And then his best workmate said, "That was a joke. This is what we really got you." It was like a sitcom, and no one said anything as he opened it, and then we all just went about our day, and no one has mentioned it ever since. That is hilarious. I love that. Oh, what a way to wind somebody up. Now, I don't know what this person is like, but I love stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it really makes me laugh. I'm going to read someone else's that said, we used to work in an open plan office with a partially stroppy idiot. He lost his rag over something once and stormed out. The storminess was diminished somewhat by his attempt to slam a door with a soft closer, which was stronger than him. That's funny, man. Oh, God, I love Reddit. Don't you just love Reddit? It's just got the most bonkers of all bonkers stuff. Talking about bonkers, you're not what's going to believe what happened to me the other day. All right. So, you know my kitchen. You don't know it, but I've got a kitchen, right? You're not going to believe that I've got a kitchen. The other day, my dishwasher played up. I don't know why. Some error come up on the screen. It said E15. I thought, what the hell's E15? What is going on now? First it was the washing machine, and now my dishwasher is playing up. And I thought, oh, God. So what I did, I got my good old trusty friend, you know, Chat LGBT. And Chat LGBT was like, oh, God, I think you got some clogged up water in your dishwasher. I thought, oh, my God, I've got a clogged up water. So I tried to fix it, and I couldn't fix it. So, but I had to pull it out from under the cabinet. You know what I mean? It's under the kitchen table. Pulled it out. So I thought, right, there's nothing I can do about it. Let's just call someone in. I'm not going to try and fix it myself because I'm useless. And then my missus said to me, she said, oh, what's that under there? I said, where? She went, looks like a piece of wire. And I said, I don't think that's a wire. Previous to this wire business, and every time, my bin is by this wire, so-called wire, right? And then, all of a sudden, I could smell something. I was like, why does it always smell like near this bin? I always used to think it was the bin. Then I thought, is it the bin? It's not the bin. Then I used to go into the fridge, and I used to look in the fridge and go, I bet there's something in there, you know, like a curry that my mum's probably sent us, and we've never touched it. It's just been in the fridge. I thought it was one of them. Curry's gone off. It was a foul smell. It was like very faint though. So anyway, you're not going to believe what happened. My wife said, I don't know if that's a wire. It looks like something else. I said, what do you mean? Like, what else could it be? She said, you're not going to believe this, but I think it's... I said, you're kidding. It can't be. She said, it is. The rat. It was the rat, guys. The rat was wedged in a pipe and it was dead. I couldn't believe it. Just imagine. That rat, he must have been there for ages. My wife was like, oh my God, we've got rats again. I said, I don't think we've got rats again. I've not heard nothing. There's no food being eaten. It's that same rat that ate the poison and now he's dead. He was just wet, like he was behind the pipes of, you know, the water pipes. Because that's where the dishwasher is. He was just behind it, wedged up, like he was wedged between three pipes. Dead. Dead rat. And he stunk. Oh my God, what a smell. It's as if the dishwasher couldn't take the smell anymore. It's a blessing in a way, because in all honesty, if that dishwasher never showed error, whatever it was, that rat would still be there and it would still be decaying and rotting and just stinking up the house. And I would never know. I would never have found it. Absolutely madness, man. So I had to get the rat out. First, I had to show the kids first, obviously. I said, yeah, kids, you want to see a dead rat? They're all like, you know what kids are like. So I got it out. I had to put some gloves on. And it was stiff as a dormouse. stiff as a dormouse. I was trying to get it out, and it was just like it was squashed. Everything just went on it. The fur was still there though. The fur. I did look at the fur and I thought it's got lovely fur, hasn't it? The rat. So that's the palaver I've had. So let's move swiftly on with the podcast. I'm going to do an embarrassing moment. This is an embarrassing moment for somebody named Comfortable Turn. Comfortable Turn said they embarrassed themselves in front of hundreds of people on my promise day. I'm not quite sure what a promise day is. I'm getting that the promise is an American thing. Is it prom day or is it promise day? I will have to ask my trusty old friend, Chat LGBT, to see what it is. Now, I've put it in and let's see what it's saying. Promise Day is celebrated as part of Valentine's Week. Usually falls on February the 11th each year, right before Hug Day and Valentine's Day. So this is gone February. I don't think they meant Promise Day, unless they mean a previous embarrassment which they want to share with everybody, but it happened on this Promise Day. We don't have Promise Days in the UK, unfortunately, and I can promise you that. So, in my country, on May the 24th, we have a tradition of walking a red carpet on our city centre. It was raining, my dress and hair was soaked, and I was late for the red carpet. Oh my God, couldn't get any worse. I was holding my dress up not to get it too wet and ran to my class. The problem is that my dress has a high slit, and I had a mini dress under it for protection, but it apparently rolled up. When I finally reached the carpet, a woman yelled, "Girl, your underwear is showing." I wanted to die on the spot. That is Comfortable Turn's embarrassing moment. That wasn't very comfortable for you, was it, young lady? I'm so sorry to hear that your underwear is showing in front of everybody else. That is an embarrassing moment. The only time people get to see my underwear is when I am changing in the gym. There's no other time when that happens. Can you get embarrassing moments in conspiracies? I don't know. The reason I say that is because now it's time to do this. Conspiracy theories, what's real, what's fake? Conspiracy theories, what's real, what's fake? Let's have a look. This one has been put up by Existing Worth. Existing Worth has gone deep down into this conspiracy. Starts off with the title of Amy Lynn Bradley conspiracy. I'm not quite familiar of this Amy Lynn Bradley conspiracy, but I do believe he has explained it a little bit. It's the official cruise ship story is a lie. She didn't vanish. She was abducted by crew. It's got yellow in brackets. Is yellow the crew? And she was sold. So this Amy Lynn Bradley disappeared by the looks of it on a cruise ship. And people reckon she was sold off. Let's have a look. Starts off with a family cruise in March in 98. It was meant to be a fun vacation, but turned into a nightmare when a 23-year-old Amy Lynn Bradley vanished from the Rhapsody of the Seas as it approached the Curacao. Every thought of a tragic accident or a desperate leap overboard just didn't hold water. No pun intended. Amy was a strong swimmer, a trained lifeguard, and the vast sea offered no clues despite days of searching. Soon, the void left by her disappearance began to fill with something far more disturbing. Whispers from other passengers pointed to Amy's last hour, not tucked away on a cabin balcony, up on a deck with a ship's musician known as Yellow. Ah, so this Yellow must have abducted her. Alistair Douglas, who some people remember offering her a drink. Once the Rhapsody docked in Curacao, the unease surrounding Amy's absence solidified into something darker. A woman bearing Amy's striking resemblance from reportedly seen on the island. Frantic and desperate for a phone, the breadcrumb leading away from the ship. Then came other whispers, each more disturbing than the last one. A US Navy sailor account of meeting a woman in Curacao brothel who said her name was Amy and she was trapped years later. A tourist in Barbados who encountered a woman she was convinced was Amy, a woman clearly terrified and controlled by a group of hostile men. And then the photos, grainy images from the internet, underbelly that Amy's family and a forensic expert painstakingly identified, pointing to a horrifying life of exploitation. Pull these threads together and the simple explanations unravel completely. Instead, a chillingly plausible scenario takes shape, with one name echoing through the accounts: Alistair Douglas. The logic is hard to escape. He was there in her final hours on the ship, and his likeness reportedly surfaced again with a captive Amy ashore. It leads to the deeply unsettling conclusion that Douglas, with help from other crew or contacts on land, didn't just witness Amy's last 3 moments, but actively engineered her abduction. The story suggests by the evidence isn't one of a tragic accident at sea, but of a calculated disappearance, a young woman, possibly incapacitated and smuggled off the ship into a horrifying reality of a trafficking network. Did Amy Lynn Bradley get abducted by this Yellow guy, or did she actually fall off the ship? I don't know much about this. I will have to have a look and check if there's a documentary or something. The person who's posted this, who is it? Existing Worth. If you have any, I don't know, any links, send it over to me. I will have a look at it. And yeah, that was today's conspiracy theory. Amy Lynn Bradley conspiracy.
What's real, what's fake?
Theories, what's real, what's fake. Oh, that was conspiracy theories. We are shortly going to end the episode, but I thought I want to do a paranormal. This one has been put up by Arcane Fighting. We ran into an elder hiking on a very remote route, and things about the encounter are messing with my brain. My girlfriend and I encountered something very strange this weekend. We trail run. It's sort of become our thing. Yesterday we found a trailhead that was up towards the mountains, about 2 hours away from Seattle. Pretty remote, so we left early and got to the trailhead at 8 o'clock. The trail was particularly difficult, steep enough that we found ourselves walking pretty often. In retrospect, we should have been surprised by what we saw next. Midway through our run on a steep descent, we pass a lone hiker and think absolutely nothing about the encounter. Alone, maybe 65 to 70 years old, all wearing white. The clothes were modern, looked perfectly placed for today. Hiking pants, vest, hat. She had one hiking pole and a backpack, all white again. Modern clothes, didn't stand out as strange. We say hello and she says nothing back. We were running, so there was nothing rude. We simply ran past her. We continue, it gets harder, but progress nearly 3 miles uphill. We get to a point where the trail becomes an overgrown forest, round in a small clearing. At this point, the road begins to get very, very overgrown. So we crest a small ridge and suddenly we see a hiker. It's been 30 minutes since we saw the older lady in white. Yet here was a hiker with the same outfit. There were no forks in our trail, yet we'd swear that this same person, but that would be impossible, right? The gravity of this didn't hit yet. So strangely, we ran past her again. We ran a couple of feet in front at least, because at that point, the road was entirely bushes and not passable. So we turned around. We walked past her a last time. She says something like, "Seems like the trail ends here." It didn't feel eerie, yet in retrospect, it was eerie. We ran back, everything seemed normal, until we reflected on why this lady was there. How would she have gotten there before us? How could she have even made it there at all? We just ran 5 miles up a hill, steep terrain, and so did this 70-year-old lady. It's been a one-way path, there's been no other turns. The trail we're on that point was completely overgrown, even that we had to turn around. Why was she there? How did she get there? Was she the same lady? When we first ran back the same trail, we never ran into the first hiker. So you saw a ghost, and that ghost said to you, "Seems like the trail ends here." I think you guys saw a ghost. Yeah. I've seen many documentaries about people hiking and seeing ghosts. It probably was one. A 70-year-old lady, maybe she passed away at the end of that trail, and that's why she said, "It ends here." What an eerie thing. I'd love to know if you ever saw that woman again. Or has anyone else ever seen a strange woman on her own? I've seen a man walking down a main road, pitch black. I thought nothing of it. I beeped at him and I overtook him and I looked in the rearview mirror and I couldn't see that person. And I did question what I saw. I mean, they were wearing modern clothes as well. I'll never forget that. Eerie, paranormal. It's now time to end the podcast with, as usual, you guys know, the weird news story. Today's weird news story comes all the way from Germany. The title of the weird news story is "A Show Inside a Cathedral Featured Raw Chickens in Diapers." Ha 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 ha. And the German president was in the audience. I believe this was in Berlin. A performance inside a Catholic cathedral in Germany earlier this month featured raw plucked chickens wrapped in diapers on stage. That sounds absolutely delicious. And the country's president and the local archbishop in the audience has prompted the church and municipal leaders to apologise that the show hurt religious feelings. How did that even go ahead? The show, Westphalia Side Story, was part of a May 15 celebration to mark the 1250th anniversary of Westphalia, a region in the northern western Germany. Video footage shows one woman and two shirtless men singing "Fleisch ist Fleisch," which means meat is meat, apparently spoofing Austrian band Opus in 1984 pop song "Live is Life," with scythes and dancing with the dead chickens on a stage in front of a Paderborn cathedral's altar. Performance company Body Talk said in a statement that the show featured work-in-progress experts from Westphalia Side Story, which references the American musical West Side Story. The Finnish show, which will premiere in September, is supposed to be part of the 1250th anniversary cultural programming. It was not meant to be a spoof at all, Body Talk co-founder Rolf Bumagat said in an email to the Associated Press at Westphalia. In a rural-dominated region with a turbulent history, our research was focused on that. The spectacle also prompted an online petition signed by more than 22,000 people bright Friday afternoon, asks Paderborn Archbishop Udo Bentz for a personal apology as well as a penance. The signers also want him to reconsecrate the cathedral after it was desecrated by this performance. In a statement posted online to the cathedral's website more than a week after the performance, the Regional Association of Westphalia Lippe and the church leadership said that the content of the performance wasn't known to the organisers or the venue. They didn't even know what the show was about, and they just put it on. The cathedral statement said is often host to cultural events and begun an internal review. They also promised to more carefully vet proposed events in the future. The German president, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, office didn't immediately return a request for the comment when this happened. So basically, these guys were just dancing with chickens wearing diapers. Madness. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. This has been a crazy little thing called Lovdev.